Okay, it's Sunday, it's the end of the weekend, unplanned stream here. This has been a weird few months after kind of playing The Last of Us for a heck of a long time, and I will still play it. When this game came out on the PS4, I thought, yes, I want this, because I had all of the other ones, except for the very first of what was known in America as Hot Shots Golf, and Everybody's Golf over here in the UK, and in Europe, I think. And then I started streaming it. And the great thing is, lots of people bought it. Yay! And we played together online. Now, I never make the assumption that, especially for people who don't have an interest in golf, that you would know really kind of what to do. It's alright. Hey, Frippen, hi, dude. How you doing, mate? That you would automatically know what to do, because golf is quite a complicated game. And it was Lucy who mentioned in Discord that she was struggling to kind of get used to where you aim the ball. So this is just what I think will be a fairly quick stream. We don't actually. Lucy might be doing homework or something. What I'm going to do at the end of this is export it over to YouTube, and then Lucy can kind of just watch it whenever. But it's for anybody who just wants to have a basic understanding of how to go about. This isn't about the game. This is just about how to take your shots. Okay. Now, to say how, this is all in principle. Knowing what you should do and pulling it off are two very, very different things. And I'm not a very skilled player, so I'll sort of describe what you should do. Doesn't mean that I'll do it. So we're going to start with what you see as you're about to take your first shot. The two most important things here are in the top right hand corner, where you see the wind direction and also its speed. This is very, very mild. I think it's 1 meter a second, because it wouldn't be 1 meter an hour, would it? It wouldn't be 0.8 miles an hour either. That's just, yeah, meters per second. Okay, now at that kind of speed, it's not going to have any effect really. It's just negligible. Once it gets up to kind of 4 or 5, that's when you really need to think about it, when you need to take it into account. Now, the second important thing is your map on the right-hand side, because that's going to give you an idea of where to aim the ball, or rather, most importantly at the start, where to position yourself on the tee. Now, depending on your club length, you don't really know at this point what your club lengths are. You can see that there's no info at all. So, what you would be thinking about with this is, it's not the case on this course, certainly not the case on this hole anyway, is where the trees are and the bunkers, any kind of hazards. You want to try to position yourself in such a way that you can avoid them. Now, your ideal with every shot that you take, in the perfect world, you would just take a dead straight shot. Okay, that's what you would do. If I start from here, I don't see that there's any particular problems. There is a bunker on the right hand side, roughly halfway to the pin, and the pin is the word that we always use for the hole with the flag in it. I don't know why they call it pin, and I'm not interested enough in golf to find out why, but they call it the pin. Now, depending on your club length, it could be the case that that bunker that you see roughly halfway up might come into play. If you think that's going to be the case, what you might do is set up on the left-hand side, so you've got more room on the left to play a straightforward shot. But of course, that would be different if you had a strong wind. You would want to counteract what the wind will do. Like I said, if it's at 4 or 5 meters per second, it's going to force the ball into that direction a lot more. So you have to take that into account. Now, what we can do here, and I think this is the better place to set up. Okay, so those bunkers don't really matter. They don't matter at all. If I just hit a nice straight shot here, I'm going to be fine. Now, the first thing that you can see now at the bottom right is the ball condition. Those percentage figures that you see here, 97 to 100, That means that even if you get full power and you hit perfect impact, it doesn't mean that it's going to travel 356 yards. Okay, it could travel less. It could be at 97% of true power that you get. Now, that variety or that range of percentages will vary a lot depending on the lie of the ball, what kind of ground it's on. If it's in semi-rough or rough, or if it's in sand or whatever, you'll see that percentage go down. That means that if you want the full length of the club, you'll have to hit the ball a lot harder. Hello. I'm just on an open course here, which is why you'll see other players. So I'm just going to go and I'm going to try and go nice and straight here. The other thing, and it doesn't matter at this point because we're right at the start on a big par 4, is up there in the middle at the top. That shows you the elevation. The pin itself, not the landing point on this first shot, but the pin is 5.7 yards lower than where we are. Now that matters, especially when you're approaching, when you're taking what they call the approach shot, which is where you're going to land on the green so that you can then put it towards the pin. When the ground is lower, as is the case here, the ball will naturally travel further because it spends longer in the air, therefore its trajectory is greater. If the elevation is higher, it means the ball won't travel quite as far because it's doing that elevation arc and then it hits the ground before it would do if the ground was level with where you are. So you have to compensate for that. If this was to the flag, I wouldn't hit this at full power. If that was higher, if it was 5.7 yards above where I am, I'd try to give it more power to counteract that difference. So let's just take the shot now. That won't travel all the way because you notice I didn't get full power on it, but it's safe enough anyway. Now, with any luck, now that tree didn't come into play. Okay, doesn't really matter. Right, now this is where it starts to get quite important. You'll see here that we've got a distance of 110 yards potentially on the club. We also notice that the pin is very slightly higher than where we are now. Now, 110 yards is too far. We do have the wind coming at us, but there's so little of it, it won't really make a difference. So what I'm going to do is pull back to the sand wedge, which means we're not hitting it quite as hard, or we're not getting quite as much distance on the club. Now, the other thing to look at now at the bottom, and you don't see that on the tee when you're taking your first shot because the tee is always perfectly flat. But what you can see here is two things. The ground is actually sloping very slightly to the left. Not enough here to really make a difference, but you have to bear it in mind. It means that the ball will naturally try to travel a little bit to the left of where you're aiming. Okay? In this case, because there's so little of it, and because the wind direction is very slightly over to the right, they probably counteract each other anyway. So you can just kind of go straight. But the other thing to look at is on the left and right of that ball icon in the bottom right hand corner, you'll see two little white things which are heading away, and that means that the lie of the ground that we're on is sloping downwards. The effect of that is that the wind doesn't have as much effect because we're actually sending the ball a little bit lower. Of course, if those two dots were coming at you, it means we're getting more what they call loft on the ball, which means that the wind will have more effect. Like I said, there's almost no wind here, so it doesn't really matter at all. What we've got to do, though, is try not to hit this at absolutely full power. Now, I'll get to the dots on the green after we played this shot. So that was just a little bit beyond the flag. But because it was slightly elevated, and because we had the wind very slightly against us, it helped to keep the ball not too far beyond. If we had played that with absolutely perfect on the flag power, it wouldn't have reached. It would have come up a little bit short of the pin. Right, the green. We've got one here where there's almost nothing happening at all, but what you can see is that those dots are moving very, very slightly to the left, and that means that when you take the shot, the ball will roll slightly off to the left hand side. This won't make much of a difference, but I would still compensate for it by just moving over a little bit. We're on a flat green, it's not going up or down, so we can actually aim, we can try to aim for dead on the flag on that power bar, and it should go in. Right, hopefully the next hole is a little bit more difficult. It's a par 5. A reachable par 4 is the one that you really want to look out for. Now, we've got choices here. Despite, if actually, is it this one? I'm going to start from the right-hand side anyway. Yeah, it's actually not this hole. Okay, ignore that. Again, almost no wind. In fact, there's no wind now as we're about to take the shot. But we've just got to look out for this. We can't highlight it, unfortunately, because our club lengths are kind of awkward. If I loft this ball... Oh, that's interesting. Came up with a new wordplay puzzle. Who's the best guy to ask for tips? Yeah, very good. Very good. Remember, that 356 yards there is where the ball theoretically should stop. Of course, it won't, because very often you'll find on a fairway that it's sloping down or sloping up. That will affect how much distance you get, and also things like whether you put topspin on the ball. Here, that is the distance it should go after it's rolled. Okay, that's not, the ball isn't just going to go into the air, go to 356 yards and stop dead. That's where it's going to end up after it's rolled. But look at this ground here. So the ball is probably going to land on the other side of this hump, which means it's going to get thrown in whatever direction. I'll just play the shot anyway and see if it happens. No, I didn't. Damn it. Do it again.
Hole 11. It's a par 5.
What I want to do is just try to play this dead straight and see what happens. Right.
Nice shot. Great shot.
So that should... There, it just hit that hump. So it hasn't gone... It has actually gone 357 yards, which is 1 yard more. I don't quite understand why we'll call that RNG. This is a much more difficult green now. You can see how much it's rolling off to the left-hand side, which is dangerous because it will roll off into the rough. We've got a choice here. We've got a little bit of wind to help us. We've also got the lie of the ball. Remember, bottom right-hand corner. We're heading off a little bit more to the right now. You can see it's a more severe slope that we're on. We've also got a little bit more loft. This time we have some loft on the ball because those two white dots on the left and right of the ball are coming towards us, and that means we're on a very slightly uphill slope. So we've got a little tiny bit of wind and the right hand slope, which is going to take it over to the right. The pin is 0.2 yards down from where we are. So what we can probably do here is play safe, try and get just about full power, but we're going to try to put backspin on this. Actually, I want to just try that. We're going to try to put some backspin on this, which is as you're taking your going for your power on the left hand side of the bar. I don't know whether you actually have to have the up arrow pressed all the time. I tend to do it out of habit because that's what it was with the earlier games. But then as you're getting towards your impact, you want to switch to the down arrow, and if you get the impact right, that's what will give you your backspin. So let's see how it goes. No. I'll have a little bit of backspin, but not much. Didn't carry as far as I thought it was going to, but this is useful now because we do have quite a difficult putt. You can see how much that's sloping off to the right, to the left now. We've also got an uphill putt. Roughly half a foot is going to have quite a big effect on the power that you need. Looking at that bar, I'm probably going to go for about halfway between the flag that you see on the power bar and the 100% power. Okay, because we're going uphill quite a bit here. But I also need to aim over this way. Two things to bear in mind here. If this was a downward putt, if the pin was 0.4 foot below where we are, obviously I would have to hit the ball softer. What you have to remember is that the slope of the green will have much more effect because the ball is travelling slowly. Okay, just it's gravity. I'm going to be hitting this quite hard, so it will have less effect. So I can probably aim about here. A lot of this has to be just intuition. I can't say that's exactly where you want to hit it. You have to guess a little bit. So let's try this. Roughly halfway between the flag and full power. Might not be quite enough. Oh, the distance was right, but just didn't quite get the direction. But you see how much it took the ball away. That's a nice and simple one. All you've got to do is hit that. It's in. 12. Where's number 12? Come in, number 12. There we are. Right, let's see what this gives us.
Hole 12. It's a par 4.
Right, looking at the map again, this is where your position on the tee actually matters, okay? What you want to do is, if you got a club that will reach a long, long way with the drive, you'd be saying, okay, I'm going to go over the left here and shorten the distance between myself and where the flag is, where the pin is. Only trouble is, there's a tree, okay? And we would be in danger then of hitting that tree if we tried to take a shot which is absolutely straight. So in this case, I wouldn't. You don't need to go over all the way over to the right. But what I'm going to try to do here is use my full power and then do something. It's a little bit risky. It is a risky thing to do. I'm going to try to get around that tree. This might not work. In fact, I'm pretty sure it won't because it's quite extreme. But this time, I'm going to try to swing the ball around to the right of that tree. And to do it, as I take the power, I'll press the left-hand button on the D-pad, and I'll switch over to the right-hand arrow as I get to the impact. There you go. So that has actually swung around the tree. I want it to bounce over the water. That will do. It's going to be a big old putt. This is horrible. Now this time we have a downward putt and a severe slope. About half a foot again, which is quite a long way really. So we've got to hit the ball slower than we would. Hitting it where the flag is on the power bar is going to take it way beyond the pin. So what we need to do is bear in mind that slope is going to have quite an effect this time because we're hitting the ball slower to begin with. You see how much it took it? It's a really, really difficult putt.
For the birdie now.
Got the same thing here, just counteract that slope.
Take your time.
But we can hit that to the flag. Oops. Because it's flat at that point.
Yes. Nice birdie. Hey. Cool. How do you like that? 13. It's a par 4.
Right, what do we have here? Again, very slight wind. Nothing too serious. Alright, this is a difficult one though. Even though there's no wind, you can see how little fairway we have to play with here. So I'm going to try to play safe and allow that wind to just take it a little bit to the right. Of course, it's so precise, this one, that if you don't hit absolutely perfect impact, which is the little white bar underneath the one that goes to the left and right, if you go even in that pink area, it won't be straight. And that's another thing to think about. You can see emanating from the ball this white kind of fan shape that comes out. It isn't a thin line. What it does is it fans out. So even with absolutely perfect impact, there is actually a range of direction. It could go very slightly left, could go very slightly right, but of course that magnifies over distance. So a little bit of RNG. No. So that won't actually go where I wanted it to go. There. Took a little kick off the fairway.
That's painful.
Watch the gauge carefully.
But glad we're here. This is right. So this is where you really start to kind of have fun with the game, or very frustrating fun. Right. First thing to do. Let's have a look at the green. For us, it's going to slope a little bit away to the right-hand side, but we've got a lie in the sand which is quite severely sloping to the left. So despite the lie of the green there, I'm actually going to compensate to the right a little bit. Okay, that's the first thing. So fairly happy with direction now, but it's 3.7 yards above where we are. The pin is 3.7 yards above. That's quite high. So we've got to hit it. Even if we could hit this at 100%, we'd have to hit well beyond where the flag is to get that distance, that extra distance, to compensate for the nearly 4 yards of extra height. However, it's more complicated than that. Look at that figure that we've got there, 70 to 90%. And that is despite the fact that we only rolled into the sand. What it's saying is that even with perfect impact, we might only get 70% of the power that we want through the ball as we hit it. The highest it can be is 90, and it could go anywhere in between that with perfect impact. If you don't get perfect impact, well, you basically don't really know what's going to happen. Okay, that will be all RNG. So what we want to do here is we need more. If this was a perfectly flat fairway lie and I had 90 to 100%, I would probably place this. You can see there are beyond that little flag symbol on the power bar, on the top of it you can see two little markers. I would probably aim somewhere for the second one, away from the flag, but we need more power here. So I'm probably going to go for the third one, not the one that's at the bottom, but the third little marker away from the flag. In fact, I might do it slightly above that, just a little bit more, and hope for perfect power. It still went further than I thought it would.
Looks like you made it. Go on, get that birdie.
Right, this is slightly more complicated now.
It'll be a long shot.
Breaks right.
Hey, cheer. Oh, yeah, it was a Walking Dad actually watching Bob. That's actually not Bob Ross live, isn't it? It's like an old VHS tape. Or as they say in America, current technology. Right, so we have a little left break here to start, but then there's more of a right break a little bit further on, or there's more of it. The ball will travel more quickly at the moment that we strike it, and then it will slow down, obviously, as it gets nearer to the hole, because, again, gravity and momentum and all that kind of stuff. So I'm actually going to ignore that first bit there and just go off a little bit right here. Sorry, go off a bit left. Forget my left and right. But we're flat as well. So we don't need to worry about putting extra... well, I say we don't need to worry about putting extra power on it. Another thing to remember is that when you've got a green which breaks in one direction, then to reach the hole and counteract that break, you're making the ball take a curved path, which of course is longer than a straight line. So the way that you compensate for it is to give it just a touch more power. So I'll probably go about there. And then hopefully it's just enough. 14. Show me your 14. Where is it? Let's go for a swim. Boing. Damn it, you can't get out of that. Okay, I made a boo-boo. I'd totally forgotten that this is quite deep. I don't think he can get out. Wow. Can't do anything. Oh, this is embarrassing. You may have a point there, Leah. Maybe you can get up onto the boat. Hey. Okay. Maybe he's just going to drown. Still, nice place this, you know. Come on, give me some steps or something somewhere. There we go. You're joking. Alright, game. So, give me a clue. How do you get out of the water? How do you get out of the water? No, you swim faster with the square. But I can't get him to jump out. I've had this happen on this course before. It's extremely annoying. Just remember that we're aiming for hole 14. You know, he's got to be able to climb out of that, surely. Okay, we're going to have to return to the home area. I've had this before, I couldn't get out of it. This won't be a particularly long stream. It's likely maybe another half hour or something like that. So if anybody's planning on running anything, particularly playing golf or The Last of Us, just say so, then we can have a raid. But it doesn't really matter what you're doing. We can come and watch anyway. And hey, Dimblewom, welcome, Dimblewom with the 5 bits. Welcome, dude. So, streaming will probably kind of return to normal on Wednesday. I've got a busy week of work. I've got either 2 or 3 general knowledge jumbos to get out the door, and also a cryptic as well. So my concise puzzles, although they're very quick to do, there's a couple of months supply of those in the books anyway, so that's all right. But yeah, 4, ideally 4 or 3 crosswords this week. So I would like to be back on Wednesday. It's possible. Right, I need to find 14 again now. but obviously avoiding the water. Oops. It got... Right, okay. Now there is no explanation. What do you mean you can't use a... What are these silly rules? Oops. Oh, just sod off. Boing. Right then. Lucy!
Hole 14. It's a par 3.
Oh, sorry. No, sorry. I thought you said Lucy then. I thought, no, I can't see Lucy's name. Right, par 3. Okay, we have 2 bunkers coming into play at the entrance to the green. And we'd like to not be heading over here because that brings the right-hand one in. So let's go all the way the other way. Still not far enough, but it'll do us. Right, this time we're heading more downhill. The wind isn't going to do very much. That's not enough. That's... Oh, we could try power. We could try power here. See what happens. No. Not... Ah. I actually put myself off there by not getting the impact.
Hole 14. It's a par 3.
It's quite a tough hole, this one, you know. Why have I got no power? I've got no power at all. Why? Why have I got no power?
Good shot. Nice shot. Oh. That's enough. Looks like you made it. Oh, no good. Level up. Go on, get that birdie.
Okay, a little bit of a slope to the right again. It's nice and flat. That might be slightly too far, you know. Might be too far. Oh, just lipped in. Well, I've got to go back over the bridge. Yeah. I can't remember where the bridge is now.
Hole 15.
Oh, this one.
It's a par 4.
Right. Why have I got no power shots? I don't understand that. Now, this is an occasion where you can actually make use of the wind. When the wind is behind you, that's great because you can get a little bit of extra distance. Not much extra distance here because it's not a strong wind. But what I don't want to do here is try to take this as a straight shot, because what it will do is it will lip off here and go into that bunker. So this is where I'm going to try to use a swerve shot again, this time around to the left. So right button first. And oh shit, I missed the impact.
Great shot. Nice shot. Hole 15. It's a par 4.
I missed the impact. That was bad. Oh, come on!
Hole 15. It's a par 4.
Don't know what's going wrong. Better.
Great shot.
So hopefully what that should do is actually use the fairway. Wow. Wow. There was no real wind there. It shouldn't have had any effect. But hey. Right, this time we have a slight problem.
This is great.
Here we've got an in-between club length, and here we've only got up to 90% power. So I'm going to have to give this some. I don't think that's enough.
Excellent.
At least I got 90%, but I don't think it will carry, you know. No. Okay. The beloved chip-in. We like chip-ins.
Nice birdie.
Solid birdie.
Hole 16.
Okay.
Par 5.
Which one is this? Oh, this is interesting. Okay. No instructional stuff here. I'm just going to try something dangerous. Really dangerous.
Excellent. Nice one.
Hopefully that will bounce off the path. Oh, it went beyond. Wow. Big. Sarah's originally called Rachel. Where did that come from?
Watch out.
No.
Wow.
Now you done it.
That should not happen. I didn't get the power actually, which was the problem there. Sorry, not taking the risk.
Hole 16. It's a par 5.
Okay, we'll try that again.
Good shot. Oh,
Nice shot.
Wow. No, I'm not sure I did. Mind you, I've watched so many videos, I possibly did watch it and forget. Good God, that was long. Wow. What happened to give me that distance then?
yeah. Excellent. There. Nice shot. Oh, yes. That's enough.
That's alright, I'll take the chip in.
Okay. For the birdie now. Makes a birdie.
Actually, I do remember it, you know. No, I do remember it.
Exhilarating.
Yeah. I can't remember where I saw it. And I'm just mentioning this now. Actually, I'm just mentioning this now. I don't need to go collecting this stuff. I really don't. But if you're kind of building up your stuff, basically, 2 reasons to actually want to do this. The coins don't matter that much, really. But what you're after, especially, is not those. Those are pretty useless. Those are pretty useless. It's gems. Gems are what you really want. And the reason for gems... Oh, forget it. I'm not picking them all up. Stop off. Right, the reason for gems... well, what they're particularly useful for
Par 3.
is that after you've conquered rank 6, you will have custom clubs, which you can upgrade. And the way that you upgrade them is either with tickets, which I think you buy, which you actually buy, which you wouldn't want to do, or gems. For each upgrade that you want to do, it costs you 10 gems. So you want to do these online courses and try to collect them. This is going to be quite tricky. Oh, that's not going to come round.
No. What?
That just refused to turn. Where the hell was I? Was it? Yeah, it's there. That's why I shouldn't give
Hole
lessons.
17. It's a par
Yeah, I'm going to play safe. I'm going to play safe. Try to use the wind here a little bit more. We need... That's not enough. Because we're nearly half a yard up and the wind is slightly against us. There is no way that we will reach with that. So what we're going to do is try to use that wind a bit. I hit that probably with a bit too much power. And it's also the fact that I'm not getting the impact as well, so my direction isn't right.
Looks like you made it. Go on, get that birdie.
Okay, this is downhill, but not ridiculous.
Focus.
Breaks left.
It's a big break, so I've got to overcompensate a bit. Come up short there. Fingers crossed. Yeah,
Nice birdie.
Hey,
just enough.
Sweet birdie.
nice birdie.
Oh, shut up. Shut up. Stop dropping things. I don't want them. Why I went to the bonus course, I don't know.
Hole 18. It's a par 4.
Right, so what we're doing here. Stronger wind this time. Now we're at the point where we have got to think about that wind. It will have an effect. And how do they end up with the power? I've got a power shot now. I had 0 before. Right, so that wind, 2.6, is probably going to take it kind of that far. But what I don't want to do here is hit that in a straight line. Okay, so again, I'm going to try to curve this around to the left-hand side. So right arrow and left arrow.
4.
Just enough. And the reason it did that, why it hit that rough there, is just the fact that I didn't get the right impact on it. Oh, look at that. Horrible again. More than 2 yards up, and the wind slightly against us, in the opposite direction to the lie. But we're also having quite a bit of loft here. You can see those 2 white dots coming towards us, but they're coming quite fast, which means that we're going to put this ball a lot into the air. So that wind will have quite an effect. But we also need to put extra power on it. Yeah, didn't get the impact again.
Nice shot.
Nice shot. Oh, lovely. Nice shot.
Good. Looks like you made it.
But we got the distance. A little bit of a break over here. That's something of a break, actually.
Steady.
Tricky one. Not enough. Not enough. No.
Okay. Keep it cool.
See, principle is fine.
Classic par.
Nice par. Too cool.
Right, where should we go? Again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this now, because what I want to do is just export it to YouTube. I don't think there's much more to explain. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, I don't want to go into kind of how the career progression works, because when you play the game, you see the career progression. So just go for another course where there are kind of more effects. Hey, Kondrav. How are you doing, mate? No, pre-recorded. As ever, pre-recorded. So let's pick one of the trickier courses. I mean, that's a trickier course. But we want something which is... not, Vortex has got its moments, hasn't it? Yeah, go Vortex. Right, so I'll have a quick round of this, and then I'll call it for the evening. But is nobody going to stream? I know it's Sunday night, and Sunday nights can be a little bit quiet, but we've got Killer is on playing Drake's Fortune, but I imagine he's going to be quite near the end of his stream. Been on for a long time.
Hole 1. It's a par 4.
Right, what's the wind doing? The wind is a little bit stronger. Okay, I like that. If I play from here, the wind is going to want to push it into all of that crap on the right hand side. I'd like to not do that. So I'm going to start from the far left hand side. Keep it this way here. And I can afford to actually play this pretty straight.
Nice shot.
But a combination of the wind and the slope should bring it back into the fair. Wow, it didn't. Good lord. Sometimes, the wind won't have quite the effect that you thought it would. So this is going to be tricky here. Okay, a good point at which to mention something else. Okay, so we've got a reasonably strong wind here. But when you've got an approach shot of this is about, call it 50 yards or something like that. The wind doesn't really have time to make the ball travel a long way off course, okay, because you're taking quite a short shot. So over this, you don't need to think about it too much. In fact, I'm going to think more about what the green is doing and the lie. Okay, the lie and the green are both going to take the ball off to the left, probably more so than the wind. We've got to go a little bit under power here. Well, we normally would, because of the fact that we're 1.3 yards lower at the pin. However, we don't have a great lie, between 87 and 95%. I would probably say hit this at about what I would call flag power. That, because I didn't get the perfect impact, it might not carry.
Yeah.
No, it did. Just about.
Could this be a birdie?
Yes!
Nice birdie. Great birdie.
Hole 2. It's a par 3.
Right. A par 3 with a strong wind. Now, the wind will have an effect. I don't know what my club length is here.
Okay.
But we're a long way up. 8 yards. So we need extra power. And I always try to put backspin.
Great shot.
It's kind of my default position.
Good.
Oh, it didn't go to the left as much as I thought.
Amazing.
Looks like you made it. Go on, get that birdie.
Nasty.
Stay calm.
So a little bit of extra length here because the ball is going to curve rather than go in a straight line.
Back to birdie.
It's a birdie.
That's 3. This is a... This course is great, it really is. But the tees are in... It's like hunt them. You have to hunt the tees.
Hole 3.
Which one is it? Oh, it's the bitch. Right. 2 approaches that you can use here. Although I don't really want to talk about hole specifics all that much because, hey, who the hell would remember it? This just happens to be one where the fairway that you want to play on has absolutely wicked slopes off into bad rough. I mean, really, really bad. So what I tend to do on this one now is don't play there. I tend to go over here and try to use backspin on the ball to hold it up.
I could watch this all day.
Again, I played that very close to the edge of the fairway because the wind was going to take it in from the right hand side. So we should be alright with that. I've just got to get over the cactus. Wind is taking it the wind and the lie are taking it over to the right hand side. Got to give it extra power because it's high up. So I'm going to guess about that much. Oh no, didn't get the power. Damn it!
Great shot.
Excellent.
Terrible shot.
Good. Nice. Yeah. Go on, get that birdie. Nice birdie.
Right, got to find number 4.
Hole 4. It's a par 4.
Right, which is this another one that's got a choice? I think it has. Oh no, it's not. Okay. But that actually sometimes depends on the wind direction. Can be quite good to go over here because there you've got the wind almost facing you, which is always nice. Do you know what? I'm going to do it because I don't think can't use a power. I've only got one power shot available, and the flag is higher. So even if that wouldn't reach, so there's no point. What I'm going to try to do here is get a nice straight shot. Try and have it absolutely facing into the wind. Ooh, that's an awkward lie though. Actually, it's not that bad. Not that bad. Yeah, in between though. It's a bit in between. Okay. Long way down. Going on for 10 yards down here. Ooh. Nowhere near enough. Wow. Badly judged. Rough.
Come on.
Terrible shot. Good lord.
You're close. Keep it cool. Nice par.
Get the impact now, don't I? Right, number 5.
Hole 5. It's a par 4.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Our favourite hole. That won't reach. Nowhere near.
Watch out.
That's that then.
It's amazing, absolutely amazing how that never ever reaches. No, I couldn't be bothered.
Hole 5. It's a par 4.
Right, what you really need here is absolute full power. And perfect impact. That won't reach.
Par.
Hey, Jacktoon! Hello, friend. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Nice. Go on, get that birdie. Nice birdie.
Nice birdie. Perfect.
Yeah. He's stuck.
I hope you were taking notes.
Hole 6. It's a par 4.
Right, which one's this? Oh, is this the 3 wood? Yeah. I'm not even taking the 3 wood. So you might be wondering what the hell are you doing there? Why so short? That was 42, 43 yards down. Wow. This is actually one of the... Where the hell? This is one of the hardest and also silliest holes on the course. Oh, for God's sake. It really is absolutely crazy.
Hole 6. It's a par 4.
Gives me a chance to just explain again what I was doing there. All the way back to a 5 wood. It's 42 yards down to the pin. And it just keeps rolling away. Okay.
Nice shot.
Looks great.
Okay.
Look at that. It's got onto the green. Almost to the pin.
You did it.
And I actually didn't hit that at full power. I hope I've hit that hard enough. Yeah. Can you believe that's the first eagle? That is my first eagle today. Right. How the hell do I get up there?
Hole 7. It's a par 3.
Okay. Now, we have water to contend with here. If I go over to the, all the way over here, that little bit of water bit surrounding the green is kind of between me and the pin. So I'm going to try and take some of it out. I'm not getting my distances.
Good shot. Good go. Yeah. Knew it.
You've got skills.
Could this be a birdie?
I'm actually glad I didn't.
Makes a birdie.
Sweet birdie.
Solid bird.
Oh, 8 through the water. I don't want to go through the water. Take me away from the water. I don't like water. I don't. Water's not nice.
Hole 8. It's a par 4.
Oh, this is another choice hole here. Now, because we've got really... Yeah, rabies. You know, rabies, it's bad. See, this is where you really like having these full-powered clubs. Because with the default set, with standard, basically that's as far as you can go. We don't want that. We want big power.
Watch out! Whoa!
That's not very nice, Leah. Why would you say that?
That's enough. Nice. Hole 8. It's a par 4.
Okay, so maybe I'll try putting backspin on it this time. Don't really want to, because I don't want to get held in that crap there.
Great shot.
Nice shot.
Come on, get the impact.
Okay, stop. Oh, no good. For the birdie now. Nice birdie.
Okay, last hole for the evening, I think.
Come on, ace.
Provided I can find the... Okay. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay. Must be this way then.
Hole 9. Par 5.
Okay, where are we going? Oh, yes, we have the nice big fairway here. We do like this one. I'll use a power shot.
Nice shot. Good. Nice shot.
Come over. Come over. Wow.
New record.
Really, Jacktoon? Oh, wow. Was who was it? It was Dreggy. Dreggy posted a link to one for £12. I know on Amazon you can get it for about 14.
Good shot.
Too far. Too far. Good lord.
Nice.
More like it.
Can you make the eagle? Nice eagle. Ha! Beautiful.
Nice eagle. Not bad.
Hey, Dreggy, there you are. Just a second. Just a second. I might be able to stay on a little bit longer here. Just let me check something. Anybody want to play? Mother dear has gone to bed. Right, first things first. First things first. Let me just end the stream and then I'll restart it because this is the one that I want to post. Sorry, this is the one that I want to export to YouTube so that Lucy has it for reference. So give me 5 seconds.